Welcome to Visa Verge News, your go-to source for insights on immigration updates and their global impacts. I'm Victoria, here to guide you through today's important topic, the shifting H-1B visa landscape in the United States and what it means for Indian professionals. Joining me is Theodore. Welcome, Theodore.
Thanks, Victoria. I'm excited to dive into this discussion. The H-1B visa has always been a vital pathway for Indian professionals in fields like IT and engineering, but it's clear that recent changes are reshaping this long-standing connection.
Exactly. Let's start by unpacking what's happening. As of March 2025, new hiring trends in the U.S. have left many Indian professionals unable to enter the H-1B visa lottery for fiscal year 2026. This shift stems from stricter visa requirements, evolving corporate practices, and a growing focus on domestic hiring.
Right, and that's a significant development because Indian nationals have historically dominated the pool of H-1B applicants. They bring specialized skills that many U.S. companies have relied on for years. Yet barriers like these updated policies under the H-1B Modernization Rule are now changing the game.
The H-1B Modernization Rule, enacted in January 2025, introduced several measures that have tightened oversight. For instance, employers now face stricter compliance standards, particularly for third-party placements. Companies providing these placements have been a significant source of sponsorships for Indian IT professionals.
And because of these tighter regulations, many U.S. firms are scaling back on sponsoring H-1B workers altogether. They're wary of the administrative burdens and the risks of heightened scrutiny. It's become a more costly and complicated process.
You're absolutely right. Beyond the stricter oversight, rising costs, like increased registration fees and legal expenses, have made sponsorship less appealing. Some companies are turning to alternative solutions like remote work or offshoring. Many talented Indian professionals now work for American firms while remaining in India.
That's a creative pivot, but it says a lot about how challenging the situation has become. Historically, the H-1B program has served as a bridge, benefiting both the U.S. and India. But now, some professionals are exploring entirely different avenues, like transitioning to other visa categories or even relocating to Canada, which offers more accessible options like the global talent stream.
Canada's immigration pathways have definitely attracted a lot of Indian talent, and it's creating a noticeable shift in global career trends. Meanwhile, within the U.S., the landscape is becoming even more competitive. Despite 85,000 H-1B visas being issued annually, the number of applications far exceeds that cap. Add in the new focus on stricter candidate credentials, and mid-level roles often filled by Indian applicants are being excluded altogether.
Exactly. And let's not forget about India's leading IT service providers. They've historically been key sponsors in the H-1B program, but now many are adapting by increasing their local hiring in the U.S. or focusing on offshore service delivery to maintain operations.
It's a significant shift that could have long-term implications. Industry experts worry this reduced participation from Indian professionals might weaken U.S.-India tech partnerships and the critical knowledge sharing they've fostered over the years.
Definitely a concern. But I also noticed there's still some hope for flexibility, like the extended cap gap protection for F1 students awaiting H-1B decisions. That gives these students legal authorization to continue their employment uninterrupted until April 2026.
That's a good point, Theodore. While the changes are making things tougher, adaptability will clearly be key moving forward for both professionals and employers. For aspiring Indian candidates, gaining advanced U.S. qualifications or leveraging remote roles might become the norm. As for U.S. companies, rethinking how they attract global talent is now more important than ever.
Absolutely, and we'll have to monitor these developments closely. Speculation about further restrictions within the H-1B program, particularly under the second Trump administration, has also been circulating. While no official announcements have been made yet, this uncertainty adds to the pressure on employers and applicants alike.
It's certainly a rapidly evolving situation, Theodore. To summarize, the H-1B visa program is becoming less accessible, with drastic impacts on Indian professionals and U.S. hiring practices. Stricter compliance standards, rising costs, and shifts in employer priorities are driving this transformation.
And as the FY 2026 lottery continues, these challenges highlight a need for greater adaptability and collaboration. Hopefully, more balanced solutions can emerge to meet both talent and economic demands.
Well said, Theodore. That's it for today's discussion. Thank you to our listeners for tuning into Visa Verge News. Stay updated by visiting us at visaverge.com. Until next time.